All right. Welcome to the October 2024 meeting. We have Sheriff McAndrew on the loudspeaker. Commissioner Shermack informed me earlier today that he is not going to be able to participate. So we do have everybody else here. So I'll call the meeting to order. And first item of business is the minutes that were previously circulated. I trust everybody's had an opportunity to review them. So I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading and adopt the minutes as prepared and presented. So moved. Have a second.
Second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes from the September meeting are approved. Does anybody from the public wish to address the board on the agenda items only? Joan Hodowanitz.
Joan Hodowan, Scranton. When Warden Betty gets up, there are two things I would like him to discuss. One is, will the prisons be exempt from unfilled positions being eliminated? I assume so, but I don't know that for a fact. I saw the paper this morning about 90 unfilled positions being eliminated, so I'd like to see that. And the second thing is, I looked at the current information on overtime. For the entire year, the budget amount was $2.6 million, and we're already at $2.54 million expended. And my question is, what's driving overtime? How far do we expect to exceed the overtime budget by the end of the year? And will whatever issues are driving overtime be a factor in next year's budget? Thank you.
Thanks, Joan. Get that, Warden? Okay. Anybody else from the public wish to address us on agenda items? I see no one, so we'll proceed with the agenda. First motion is to approve all current payables for the Community Corrections Center as well as the prison. Again, those items were circulated in advance of today's meeting. I trust everybody's had an opportunity to review them. And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve the current payables.
Motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second on the question. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The current payables are approved. We'll go to the controller's report. Had a note, though. I see we got the shot clock over there on the podium. I like that. So,
Yes, Judge. Controller's report of the prison inmate and canteen accounts for September 2024. The Controller's office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the prison business office for the month of August 2024, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statement. The balance in the inmate account was $428,868.92 as of September 30th, 2024. The balance in the canteen checking account was $473,234.34 as of September 30th. In addition, as of September 30th, the canteen account also included a balance in the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust investment account of $923,314.96, which is earning approximately $4,000 per month and which will mature next in January of 2025. During the month of September, $87,661.02 was paid from the canteen account for the benefit, welfare, and education of county inmates, and an itemized details of those expenses are attached to my report. And that concludes my report.
in that 87,000, did that anything to do with the motion that we approved last month with the new library, or is that not kicked in yet?
I don't believe that is kicked in yet,
Okay,
Judge.
okay. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for the controller? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
So moved.
Do I have a second
Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. DeBillio. Mr. McConaughey, can you favor us with the Community Corrections Center report, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the house arrest report for the month of September. House arrest had 169 participants, juvenile had 22. Programs revenue, house arrest had $50,942.53. Juvenile had $4,840, for a total of $55,782.53. Year-to-date totals for both departments is $534,726.99. Programs expenses is $66,923.86. Programs completions, there was 33. Violations were 10. We still have 7 outstanding warrants for house arrest. Budget report overall, overtime's at 64%, expenses at 76%, and revenues at 79%. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Mr. McConaughey? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his monthly report.
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Norm.
Have a good day.
We'll move to the warden's report.
Good afternoon, Board. The average daily population for September was 730 inmates, 589 were county. We averaged 644 adult males, 7 juvenile males, and 79 adult females. And the average daily population of U.S. Marshal detainees is 141. Our overtime and out-of-county boarding reports are attached. Staffing update, currently our correctional officer numbers break down to 171 full-timers on shift, 5 out on workers' comp, 2 on continuous FMLA, 95 with intermittent FMLA, and we have 2 individuals on administrative leave, and 2 full-time vacancies with 13 part-time vacancies. So 182 full-time officers in total. The newly hired class of officers just completed basic training. They're now on active duty as of today, and they're counted in that list of numbers that I just mentioned above. We had 6 full-timers successfully complete the training. As of September 30th, revenue was at 60%, expenses were at 75%. Extraordinary occurrence report, there were 2 in the month of September. On 9/17, a male inmate was displaying signs of agitation and aggression, and he threw an unknown liquid at officers while he was in the shower. Our staff attempted to de-escalate the situation, however, their efforts were unsuccessful. In order to safely extract him from the shower area, staff had to use the pepper ball launcher. This individual then complied with his removal from the shower. He was then placed in the emergency restraint chair so that he could be safely decontaminated. And on 9/28, a female was displaying signs of agitation and confusion. 2 of our sergeants utilized their CIT training to de-escalate the individual. However, her behavior suddenly deteriorated, and she began to physically resist staff and started expressing suicidal ideations. Due to these behaviors, our staff placed her in the emergency restraint chair for the safety of everyone involved. PREA, there were 3 PREA investigations completed in the month of September. 2 were allegations of inmate on inmate sexual misconduct. 1 was deemed unfounded, the other was deemed unsubstantiated. And there was 1 allegation of staff on inmate sexual misconduct, and it was deemed unfounded. And before I conclude my report, I'll just quickly address what Joan had mentioned. Regarding the elimination of positions, that's a decision to be made by the county administration, by the commissioners. I did offer up a couple positions where we united a couple different, two positions into one. We've already done that. I've been making plans for the possibility that there would be some position eliminations, and we'll be able to address any of those. The overtime, what's driving it? There's 4 basic things. There's hospitalizations, and that's the one that really killed us this year. That's why our overtime is where it's at. At one point in the summer, we had 5 individuals simultaneously in the hospital. Each individual calls for 2 officers with them per shift. So when we had 5 people there, you had, what's that, 30? No, 10? Whatever the number is, overtimes just automatically, just from the hospitalizations. But on top of that, we've had a larger than average number of people out on extended periods of workers' comp. That hurts us. And then there's the FMLA and the usual benefit usage. People taking vacation, they have vacations warranted. Those things all add up. But it's really this year, the number of ER visits, we're fastly approaching 150 visits to the ER this year. And every ER visit, it's not that quick. We go up there, we have to kind of get in line for our turn with 2 officers. And while they're up there, I'm saying the quickest turnaround I've seen is 3 hours. So when we go up there, that's a lot of times that the individuals that take them up there, they go into the next shift automatically overtime then. You already have 2 officers up there. Sometimes it takes up to 8 hours. Sometimes it ends in an admission to the hospital. But that's one of the things that we're really trying to work on right now is limiting without infringing on anybody. But I guess you could say maybe trying to improve our assessment of who needs to go up to the hospital to the ER visit. Because I think it's safe for me to say it's, in my evaluation, a little overused. I think we're too quick with taking people up to the ER. With 150 people going up there throughout 9 months, and we had something like 10 to 15 admissions, that's not a good ratio there of ER visits to admissions. So that is one of the things that we're looking on as well. And finally, Joan, I don't anticipate that the overtime rate is going to stay where it's been for the first 3 quarters of the year, because we did run a little low on staff. We did have those hospitalizations that were out of the norm. But if it continued at that rate, I just did some quick math, we would be at 3.3 million at the end of the year. We're at 2.5 right now. The last couple of weeks, I'd say over the last month, and you'll see in the next month's report with the overtime numbers should be significantly lower because we have this new class that just came on, the 6 full-timers. And on top of that, as of about an hour ago, we have nobody at the hospital. For the first time since, I don't know, March, in all honesty, we had 1 person up there, and that person got released on their own recognizance today, so we don't have anybody at the hospital right now. And with that, that concludes my report.
Anybody have any questions for the warden? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept his report.
Second.
I have a second. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Warden.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public wish to address the board?
How you doing? My name is Matt Thomas. I'm a representative with AFSCME, representing the COs at the prison. We understand overtime is a hot button subject right now. But we have to keep in mind that these individuals are providing care, custody, and control to these inmates in that facility. The overtime, I'll tell you, a lot of them are burned out, right? They don't want to be saved. They get mandated at the doors constantly. But it's a necessary thing for them to be there in order to provide that safety. It's not only the safety that they're providing of the inmates. Just in the last 2 months, and Warden, you could probably agree to it, they, saved the lives of 2 inmates. One in a suicide attempt and another with a heart attack. I mean, these individuals are there working constantly, in not the best settings I can imagine. I don't work behind bars, but I think that needs to be kept in mind when having these discussions, to the point where, it's a sacrifice for them too. It's easy to say that they're the problem. They're working all this overtime, but it's a necessary evil, I guess. But hopefully we can get that under control with the new classes coming in. We look forward to having them on the floor. But again, I just think they're doing what we can, but there's only so much you can do before you're cutting people short.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, I don't see anybody. I know Liz asked last month, Liz Parsons asked last month about the status of our review of the disciplinary procedures. And I spoke earlier this week with Dan DeMuth, and he tells me he's got a meeting set up on Friday with the warden and has been reviewing the policies and is in the process of visiting a couple of other institutions as well for doing a compare and contrast. So that's moving along, and he's making progress. So just a little status on that. Any other members have any business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.